Jamie spends his evenings surrounded by paint pots and white trainers. His custom designs just went viral, turning a quiet hobby into a high-demand business. Since Jamie is the only person behind the desk, he is operating as a sole trader, the simplest type of business where one individual owns and runs the entire show. Right now, he has total autonomy. He doesn't need to ask permission to change a design or raise his prices, and every penny of profit from a sale goes directly into his own pocket. It's the absolute fastest way to get up and running. There's no complex registration and very few rules to follow, allowing him to focus entirely on his art. But the workload is relentless. Jamie is the artist, the customer service rep, and the delivery driver. Without anyone to share the burden, the stress of long hours starts to mount. Growth is also difficult. To buy better brushes or more inventory, he has to rely on his own modest savings or hope a bank will approve a small personal loan. Because the law sees Jamie and his business as the exact same entity, there is no line between his personal life and his shop's debts. If the business owes money it can't pay, Jamie is personally responsible, meaning his car or even a future home could be sold to cover the cost. This is the weight of unlimited liability. While being a sole trader offers the ultimate freedom, it places the entire physical burden and every bit of financial risk on one person's shoulders. To keep up with the orders, Jamie brings in a partner, Sarah. They've moved into a small workshop, shifting the business into a partnership, a model where 2 to 20 people share ownership. To make it work, they sign a deed of partnership. This document acts as their rulebook, detailing exactly how they'll split the profits and what specific roles each of them will play. Now they can divide the workload based on their strengths. While Jamie paints, Sarah handles marketing. And by pooling their savings, they can finally afford the high-end equipment they need. But sharing the business means sharing the rewards. The profits are now split between them. They also have to navigate disagreements, as two owners don't always see eye to eye on the company's future. The risk of unlimited liability hasn't gone away, it has simply expanded. Now, both Jamie and Sarah are personally tied to the business's financial obligations. This creates a shared vulnerability. If one partner makes a catastrophic financial mistake, the law can hold all partners responsible. One person's bad decision can put every partner's personal assets at risk. Partnerships solve the problem of limited labor and capital, but they require deep trust to manage the shared risks and the complexity of working together. When a major retail chain asks for thousands of pairs, Jamie and Sarah realize they need a massive warehouse and industrial-grade supplies. The scale of the project requires far more money than they can personally provide. To protect themselves while raising that capital, they restructure as a private limited company, often identified by the Ltd after the business name. This transition creates a legal wall between the owners and the business. As a separate legal entity, the company is now responsible for its own debts. This is limited liability. Jamie and Sarah are no longer at risk of losing their personal possessions if the business fails. They can now invite family or friends to invest by purchasing shares. These shareholders provide the cash needed for the warehouse, but they only risk the specific amount they choose to invest. Their personal lives remain protected behind that legal shield. However, this protection involves a mountain of paperwork. Between high legal setup costs and complex annual tax filings, the administrative burden is much higher than before. They also lose their financial privacy. The company must register with Companies House, making their annual financial reports public record for anyone to inspect. Forming a private limited company trades away the simplicity and privacy of a small shop for the safety of limited liability and the ability to grow at scale. Choosing a business structure is a balancing act between 3 dials: profit, control, and funding. A sole trader keeps all control and profit, but has the least access to funding and carries the most personal risk. In a partnership, those dials move towards the center. Ownership and control are shared, which provides a bit more funding while distributing the burden of risk. A private limited company moves the dials again. The owners give up some control to shareholders, but in exchange, their access to funding skyrockets while their personal assets stay safe. There is no single correct way to build a business. Success is